Have you ever been fired? It stings, right? But what if I told you getting fired can sometimes be the best thing that ever happens to you? Let me tell you a story about a client who thought they could find someone cheaper and better. Spoiler alert, it didn't end well for them. It all started about a year ago. I was working with this incredible company, a fast-growing tech startup. We were crushing it. I was their go-to guy for all things marketing and strategy. We had a great relationship, the results were pouring in, and everything was fantastic. We were in sync, our campaigns were hitting all the right notes, and their growth trajectory was pointing straight to the moon. I genuinely loved working with them and felt like a part of their team. Then, one sunny Tuesday afternoon, I got an email. It was from the HR department. The subject line was just a quick chat. My heart didn't sink immediately. I figured it was a routine check-in, maybe about a new project. I hopped on the call, all smiles, ready to talk business. But the mood was different. The HR manager was there, along with one of the junior executives. They looked uncomfortable. They started with the classic, "It's not you, it's us" routine. They praised my work, told me how valuable my contributions had been. I was starting to get a bad feeling. Then came the bombshell. They had decided to restructure their marketing efforts and were moving in a different direction. They had found another specialist, someone local, who they believed would be a better fit for their new phase of growth. And then, the real kicker came out, almost as an afterthought. The new person was significantly cheaper. Ouch. Cheaper. That one word hit me like a ton of bricks. It felt like all the hard work, the late nights, the creative breakthroughs, it was all reduced to a price tag. They were essentially saying, "Thanks for everything, but we found a bargain." I was professional on the call. I wished them the best, offered to help with the transition, and we ended things on polite, if slightly chilly terms. But let's be real, inside I was fuming. I was hurt. My ego was bruised. Had I done something wrong? Was my work not as good as I thought? All these doubts started creeping in. For a couple of days I was in a funk. I replayed every conversation, every campaign, trying to figure out where I'd messed up. It's a lonely place to be, questioning your own value. I let myself feel it for a bit, but then I had to make a choice. Either let this break me or use it as fuel. I chose fuel. I told myself that their decision wasn't a reflection of my worth, but a reflection of their priorities. They chose cost over proven value. Fine, their loss. I decided to focus my energy on my other clients and on finding new ones who would appreciate the expertise I brought to the table. I doubled down on my own business, refined my processes, and started creating even more content to showcase my skills. In a way, getting fired from that project lit a fire under me. Life went on. I got busier, took on exciting new projects, and honestly, I almost forgot about that old client. And then, exactly 30 days after that awkward video call, my phone rang. It was an unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something told me to pick up. "Hello?" I said. The voice on the other end was hesitant. "Hi, is this—" It was the CEO of the company, the very same one that had let me go. My first thought was, this is interesting. He sounded stressed. He started by apologizing, which immediately got my full attention. He said, "We made a huge mistake." He explained that the cheaper specialist was a disaster. Deadlines were missed. The quality of the work was amateurish. Their key metrics, the ones we had so carefully built up, had plummeted. Their new campaigns were a mess, and they were actually losing money and brand credibility. He told me the new guy talked a big game, but couldn't deliver. He was using outdated tactics that just didn't work. The team was frustrated, customers were complaining, and the momentum we had built was completely gone. The CEO admitted they had been penny-wise and pound-foolish. They were so focused on cutting costs that they completely overlooked the value of experience and a proven track record. He then asked the million-dollar question. "Is there any chance you would consider coming back? We'll pay whatever it takes." Now, I had a decision to make. My ego wanted to say, "Sorry, I'm booked solid. Good luck with your bargain bin specialist." It would have been so satisfying. But as a professional, I saw an opportunity. Not for revenge, but for a better partnership. I took a deep breath. I told him I appreciated the call and his honesty. I also told him that my schedule had indeed filled up and my rates had increased. This is a key lesson for anyone in a creative or service-based field. Never undervalue yourself. When someone shows you they don't value you, believe them, and if they come back, it has to be on your terms. The power dynamic had completely shifted. I wasn't the guy they could just replace with a cheaper option anymore. I was the expert they desperately needed to fix a massive problem. We scheduled a follow-up meeting. This time it wasn't with HR, it was with the entire leadership team. I laid out a new proposal. It included a higher retainer, a longer-term contract to ensure stability, and much clearer terms about creative control and expectations. I wasn't just coming back to do the same job, I was coming back as a strategic partner. A consultant they couldn't afford to lose again. They agreed to everything without hesitation. The CEO literally said, "Whatever you need, let's just fix this." The first few weeks back were intense. It was like a rescue mission. We had to undo the damage, calm down the frustrated team members, and rebuild the marketing foundation. But this time, I had their full respect and trust. There was no more second-guessing, no more questioning my methods. They had learned their lesson the hard way. So, what's the moral of the story? First, if you're a business owner, remember that cheap is often expensive in the long run. Investing in true expertise pays for itself. Don't be tempted by a bargain that seems too good to be true, because it probably is. Value the people who deliver real results. And if you're like me, a freelancer, a consultant, a creator, and you get dropped for a cheaper option, don't let it crush you. See it as a test. Believe in your worth. Keep honing your craft. More often than not, quality wins in the end. Sometimes getting fired is just the universe's way of setting you up for a bigger comeback. That short-term pain can lead to a long-term gain you never saw coming. Their mistake became my biggest leverage. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever been in a similar situation, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories and insights. See you in the next one.